Hello everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session, we'll continue with our chapter Voice. This is part 2. In this session, we are going to read some sentences according to the rules of tenses and their passive voice. So let's begin the session. First, we'll read present tense. Now we know well that we have subdivisions of present tense. We have indefinite present tense, or we can say simple present tense. We have present continuous tense. We have present perfect tense. And we have present perfect continuous tense. But I have already told you earlier as well that we do not convert any perfect continuous tense into passive voice. Therefore, in present tense, we have three tenses that can be converted into passive voice. That is indefinite present tense or simple present tense, present continuous tense, and present perfect tense that can be converted into passive voice. So let's begin with present indefinite tense, or that we call present simple tense. In active voice, the sentence is written like subject plus present simple verb plus verb 1 plus object. When we convert passive of this, we'll have object on the subject place, now as subject. Then in this case, we know well that be forms of present are, is, are, and am. So in case of passive voice, we need be. It is like object plus be form plus verb third form. Now these are the requirements of a passive voice. Object on the subject place, then we have be, then we have verb third form. So in this case, we have object now as subject, then is rm, then past participle of the main verb, that is verb third form, and then the subject now as agent should be used with by preposition. Let us see a sentence. Now we have several subjects, like we have singular subject, we have plural subject. So there are different requirements as per the subjects. Now suppose the sentence is he writes a letter. This is present indefinite tense or simple present tense. Now when we convert this a letter, this is an object should be come in the place of the subject, that is a letter. Then be form is because letter is singular, so is written by him. Now he is coming to the place of an object, so the nominative case of he is he and objective case is him. So he will be converted into him. So the correct passive voice is a letter is written by him. Now if we have a sentence, she makes tea. Now to convert the sentences, tea is made by her. Now if it is written with another subject, that is plural subject, that is they. Now they write letters, this is active voice. Now if we convert this into passive, so they is plural subject, so it will be followed by write, that is plural verb. But if it isn't converted into passive voice, let us see the object of this. So object is letters, that is plural. So letters are plural, that is why R is written over here, because subject verb agreement is necessary, then written, the past participle, then by them. So they will be converted into them because objective case of they is them. So the correct passive voice is letters are written by them. Now let us move to the next. Now we have the subject I. So I write a letter. This is active voice, and the passive of this will be a letter is written by me. Again, letter is singular, therefore now this write is plural because of the subject I. But now this verb will be is, this be form will be is because the letter is singular. So a letter is written by me. Now if the sentence is like she respects me. Now this is the sentence. If we convert this into passive voice, here me is an objective case. And if it is written on the subject place, so it should be nominative case, so me will be converted into I. Now this is actually the present indefinite tense. Now we need be form, so with I we use am. So I am, now respects third form is respected. So I am respected by her. Now she is subject in active voice. It will be written on object place in the passive voice, and the objective case of she is her, whereas me is object in active sentence. Now it will be a subject in passive sentence, and the nominative case of me is I, that should be written on the subject place. Now let us move to the next sentence. It is for you. You behaves both in singular and plural form. Therefore, you is always, we should know that you is always followed by plural form of verb only. Whether it is written in singular form or plural form, but it should be followed by plural form of verb always. Now you write a letter. So whenever this a letter come at this place object, now a letter is singular, so is written over here. So a letter is written by you. If the sentence is like, I respect you, so in this case, you, when takes place of subject, it will you only, because the nominative case of you is you and objective case of you is also you. So the objective case and nominative case remain same in case of you. So you respect, you are respected. Actually, you is always used in plural form. So you are respected by me. So this is the sentence structure. So this is present tense, present indefinite tense. Now we'll read present continuous tense. Present continuous, the active sentence of it. Now one more thing, that is continuous is used when some action is going on or it is temporary. So in this case, a very important thing is there, that ing is the requirement of active sentence as well. In active sentence, we need ing. Actually, it is the requirement of continuous tense. It is the requirement of tense. That is, ing is important in case of continuous. Now, if we write an active sentence, that is subject plus is mr plus verb with ing, and that is present participle on, and then we have an object. Now, if we convert this into passive voice, the requirements of passive voices are, first we have be form and then we have verb third form. So these are the requirements of passive voice. Now, if we convert this into passive voice, we should keep both the requirements in our mind, the requirement of present continuous tense and the requirement of passive voice. So, in continuous we need ing, whereas in passive voice we need verb third form. Now, to overcome this situation, we use being in this sentence. So here we have object on the subject place, now a subject, then is mr, that is the form of be. Now just to locate the ing verb, we use the word being, so that ing is over here. Then we have past participle of the main verb, because main verb is always converted into third form. In passive voice, we need verb third, but of the main verb only. Then we have by, then we have subject now as an agent. Now let us see an example. He is writing a letter. So with singular subjects like he, she, and it, he is writing a letter. So he is a singular subject, is over there. Now a letter, object on the subject place. Then because the sentences of present continuous tense, here we have is, because a letter is there. Then being for the continuous, then written for the passive voice by him. So the passive voice of this continuous tense will be, a letter is being written by him. Now if the sentence is, he is teaching me. Now look at this sentence carefully. If we convert this sentence into passive voice, your me will be converted into I for the subject. Then I requires am with it in continuous tense. So I am being taught by him. The objective case of he is him. So this will be the correct sentence. Now let us move if the subjects are plural. For example, they are writing letters. Now in this case, letters are being written by them. For I am writing a letter is being written by me. So these are the cases of present continuous tense. Now we have present perfect tense. Now requirements of present perfect tense are, now perfect tense always requires the form of have. So the form of present forms of have are have and has. Has for singular, have for plural. Now in this case, active sentence will be formed like subject plus has have plus verb third form, that is past participle. So this is the requirement of present perfect tense. Then we have object. So the passive voice of it, object on the subject place, now as subject. Then we have has have, because perfect required set. Has and have are the requirements of perfect tense. Then in case of perfect tense as well, we need verb third form. So these are basic requirements of a perfect tense. In case of passive voice, we need be necessarily. Now, if we have written has and have, and after that we have past participle, the sentence will be okay. The sentence will be right, or would have been right, but according to the perfect tense, the sentence will have been an active sentence. But in case of be is always required, and has and have are always followed by third form of verb. Therefore, we make be in third form, that is has been or have been. Then we have past participle, that is main verb third form. Then we have by, then we have subject, now as agent. So let us see this with a sentence. He has written a letter. This is singular subjects like he, she, or it. So whenever we write this in passive voice, a letter has been written by him. This is passive voice. They have written letters. Now letters are plural. So when letters come at the place of subject, they are plural. So have should follow them. So letters have been written by them. So letters have been written by them is the passive voice of this active sentence. So in this sense, we convert the sentence of a perfect tense into passive voice. If we have subject I have written a letter. So I is always followed by have, not has. I is considered plural in this case. A letter, now a letter when come to the subject place. So the object when comes to the subject place, this will be the subject. So letter is followed by has because letter is singular. So a letter has been written by me. Now next, for you, both singular and plural, this word is used in both singular and plural form, though you is always followed by have in any form. So you have written a letter. A letter when comes to the subject place. So a letter, again singular, has been written by you. So this is present perfect tense. Now we'll begin with past tense. So first we have past indefinite tense. The active voice is like subject plus verb second, that is past form of the verb plus object. Now the passive voice is object now as subject, was verb, then past participle of the main verb, then by plus subject now as agent. Let us see this with an example. First is he wrote a letter. So he is subject, wrote is the main verb second form, and a letter is object. Now a letter will come to the subject place. Now be past forms are was and were. These are the past forms of be. So was and were, a letter was written by him. This will be the correct structure of passive voice. So the correct passive sentence is a letter was written by him. There will be no second form now. Now the next plural subjects, they wrote letters. So letters plural, therefore were is used. Letters were written by them. They will be converted into them. So the correct passive voice is letters were written by them. Now if we have the subject I wrote a letter was written by me. Simple. Then if for both singular and plural, that is you wrote a letter was written by you. Now for the past continuous, again being should be kept in mind. Subject plus verb plus ing, that is present participle or and object. Now object now as subject, was verb plus being plus past participle of the main verb, and subject as an agent. Now for singular subjects, he was reading a book. So when we convert this into passive voice, a book is an object, that will be coming to the place of subject, that is here. So this is object on the place of subject. Now was, because a book is singular, so was. Now being is the requirement of passive and ing is the requirement of continuous. So being read. Now third form of read is also read, whereas the pronunciation of this will be read. So being read by him. This will be the entire structure of the sentence. Now for plural subjects like they, we and all, they were reading books. So books were being read by them. In case of I was reading a book. A book was being read by me. So this is past continuous tense. For you were reading a book. A book was being read by you. Now one more thing, if these structures are in interrogative structures, the structure of the sentence in active voice will be changed and in the passive voice as well, because there we have the word helping verb did, does, and so on. So that will discuss separately in some other session. Now let us move to the next part, that is past perfect. So past perfect, we have had subject plus had plus past participle of the main verb, that is verb third form, plus object. So this is the active structure or the basic structure of the sentence. Now to convert it into passive voice, first object should be located on the subject place. Then had is the requirement of perfect tense. Had is the requirement of perfect tense, so it should be there in passive sentence as well. So object plus had. Then again we need third form. In this perfect case also, had plus verb third form, and the third form of the main verb is required in passive voice. Again, passive voice also need be. Therefore third form of be is used over here, that is been. So past participle of the main verb, and then we have by, then we have subject. Now for singular subjects like he, she, it, and singular nouns, active, he had written a letter. To convert this into passive voice, a letter had been written by him. For plural subjects, they had written letters. Now the letters are objects, should be there in place of subject. So letters had then been written by them. So the passive voices, letters had been written by them. For I had written a letter had been written by me. You had written a letter, this will be converted like a letter had been written by you. So this is past perfect tense. Now we'll read a very important tense, that will be future tense. Now in case of future tense, again we have indefinite tense. Then we have continuous. Then we have perfect. And then we have perfect continuous. Now we know well that perfect continuous is not converted. Let us eliminate this. So let us remove this. We also know that continuous tense of a future tense is not converted. Therefore, remove this as well. So only these two tenses, perfect and indefinite, are converted into passive voice in case of future tense. Also, future tense require modal with them. Future tense requires modals with them. Now, modals has one condition, that modals are always followed by verb first form. So this is the basic requirement of modals. Now, if we make a sentence in passive voice, be and verb third form is the requirement of passive voice. So we have to connect both of these together. Therefore, in this case, the active voice is subject plus will or shall plus base form of main verb, that is verb one form. And then we have object. Now if we make it passive, so object will come on the subject place. Then we'll have object now as subject. Then we have will and shall, that is modal. So we use will and shall in case of active voice as well. Then we have be, because after modal we need verb first form, but the passive requirement is that main verb should be in third form. Therefore, we will write be over here in first form and the main verb will be in past participle form. So past participle or the third form of main verb, that is verb third form. And then we have subject now as an agent. It means subject on the object place. Now let us see some sentences. For singular subjects like he, she, it, and singular nouns, he will write a letter. Now, this will be written in passive voice like a letter will come here on the subject place. Then will write will be. So, will be is very important. Then written, that is verb third form, and then by him. So, the correct passive will be a letter will be written by him. Now, let us move to the next plural subject sentence. They will write letters. So, they are plural subjects. So letters will be written by them. Now let us move to the next sentence. I will write a letter. Now I can be followed by will and can be followed by shall as well. Suppose I shall make project. This sentence can also be written in future indefinite tense. Now, if we convert the sentence into passive voice, a letter that is an object in active voice will come to the subject place in case of passive voice. Then will is followed by be, then we have written, then by me. So I shall make project. The sentence will be converted like project. Now I shall make a project, so it will be a project. Now if it is written project, shall cannot come over here because shall is always preceded by I, whereas here the subject is a project. So here we'll write will. Be, make third form, made, by, I, objective case is me. So the correct passive voice will be a project will be made by me. So this is future indefinite tense. Now let us come to the future continuous tense, which will not be converted into passive voice. Now we'll come to the future perfect tense, because future perfect continuous can also not be changed and future continuous tense is also not changed. Therefore, let us come to the future perfect tense directly. Okay, one more subject is there for you. You will write a letter will be written by you. Now this is future perfect tense. Future perfect tense, again requirement of perfect tense are have and verb third form. Now here has or had cannot come because in this case we have modal as well, and will and shall are always followed by verb first form. So have is verb first form, whereas has is singular. Therefore we do not use that over here. Now subject plus will shall plus have plus past participle of the main verb, that is verb third form, then object. So this is active structure. Now if we convert this sentence into passive voice, we have object on the subject place, now as subject, then we have will and shall, then we have been, then past participle, that is verb third form, then by, and then subject, now as agent. For singular subjects like he will have written a letter. Now to convert this into passive voice, a letter will have requirement of perfect, been requirement of passive, then requirement of perfect and passive both, and then by him. So the correct passive voice will be a letter will have been written by him. For plural subjects, they will have written the letters. So letters will have been written by them. For I as a subject, I will have written a letter. Now a letter will have been written by me. For you, you will have written a letter will have been written by you. So these are the basic structures of writing an active sentence into passive voice, or to convert the tenses of active voice into passive voice. So these are basic tenses structure. In this thing, we should keep this in mind that future continuous and perfect continuous of any, like present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, and future perfect continuous, all these tenses are not converted into passive voice. No passive of these tenses. So this is again very important. And while converting the sentence from active voice to passive voice, we should keep this in mind that the basic structure requirement of the active sentences of these tenses should not be disturbed. So now we'll discuss some more concepts in the next session. For today, thank you.